Hello, I'm Philip Staehle, owner, winemaker for Enkidu Wine. Presenting two of our other whites, besides the Sauvignon Blanc, which have been our mainstays for a number of years. And occasionally we produce Chardonnay, and I have with us the 2018 Chardonnay coming out of Russian River Valley. And this is a barrel fermented Chard. And it actually does have a little bit of new French oak on this. This has about right around 10% new French on this wine. Like all our whites, I do inoculate these. I don't do native yeast fermentation like I do with our reds, but it is all barrel fermented, and it is going to be in barrel. I normally have it in barrel for about 9 months, 8 to 9 months after we have completed the fermentation. So what we do with our grapes, and this also includes the Grenache Blanc, which I'll be speaking next. And so we receive the grapes in, and we basically go right directly to press with the grapes. And so we do what we call a whole cluster press. And so it's a little bit more delicate. I don't press to very high pressure, so the fruit is really going to be kind of clean of a lot of the astringencies that you may see in some other wines. And so it's really, really nice, clean fruit, and it's going to be, again, a little bit, I would say, free of those kind of harsh components. The barrel fermentation will last normally about 10 days. And so we inoculate it. It takes a little while for it to get going, and then the fermentation will complete after about 10 days, and at which point we'll go ahead and we'll start stirring on a weekly basis the lees. And so the yeast, after they die off, they will float to the bottom. And there's a little bit of grape component still in there as well. And but we need to stir that really to ensure that we're getting a nice clean, that the wine remains clean, should I say. And then also it contributes to the complexity of the wine itself, mixing with the lees on a constant basis. The Chardonnay is also, I don't do, in this particular year, I didn't do malolactic fermentation, so it has a lot more of just really pure, clean Chardonnay characteristics. So it's not going to be a big butter bomb like some other wines, because I don't do malolactic fermentation, and it's going to have that structure. It's going to have that clean, more minerally type of components that you get with Chardonnay, so more of the green apple types of components that go along with it, and maybe a little bit of melon as well. And a little bit, I would say, citrus, so a little bit almost like lemon curd that are part of this wine. And it's, I think, really, really outstanding with food, just because the acidity that this wine has just really cuts through any kind of heavy sauces that you may have, whether it's cheese sauces or heavy butter sauces and so forth. And so it is a great accompaniment to those types of foods in general. One of my favorite wines, actually, of the what we produce is going to be the Grenache Blanc. And a Grenache Blanc, this is the Cuve'e MS, and that's named after my wife, Melissa. And this is produced for fruit out of the Borden Ranch, and out of it's north of Lodi and a little bit more towards the foothills, a little bit more rockier and upslope within the Central Valley. And it's a vineyard that's about 200 acres, and it is organically farmed, and it is a 100% Grenache Blanc that I've been producing now for about the last 5 years or so. I love Grenache Blanc. It is more of a Spanish varietal, but it is grown also within the Rhone Valley in France, but it is widely planted in Spain, and also they have it in Portugal as well. And so this is a wine that has the most minerality, I think, of any of the white wines that I produce. And minerality is almost like you have like Riverstone in your mouth. I mean, you could taste the mineral, you could taste the rocks that basically that this wine has. And it took me quite a long time to find this descriptor. A lot of blood orange in the aroma and in the flavor itself. And there's also some green apple components to this wine, a little bit of leesy components as well, but because it is barrel fermented and will be actually in barrel for about 8 months, 8 to 9 months, and stirred pretty much during that period, and just like all of our other white wines as well. And again, it's inoculated. This will undergo very little malolactic fermentation like all my wines, all my white wines. And again, I like that vibrancy. So I like, in my white wines in general, I like more acid to those wines than I do, with, let's say, with the reds. And for a number of reasons, but really I think that the wines just drink really well with food. And I'm not going to call my wines food wines, but I'm always looking about how you can experience our wines in different environments, whether on your own, sitting out by the pool, or just enjoying a glass with your friends, or are you having it on a daily basis with food. And I think, like a lot of winemakers, a lot of people, wine is food. And so it's really, really important that the wine really integrates extremely well with food in that general sense. And the MS, the Grenache Blanc, is one of those wines that's very, very compelling and very perfumey. And it's one of the few white wines that I've seen. I mean, I've seen definitely Chardonnays, let's say, that come out of Burgundy, and some other wines too, that, you know, they need some time in bottle. This is, in our case, this is definitely the situation where it's actually better in 9 months, 10 months than it is after we first bottle these wines. They just need time to start opening up and develop a lot of complexity. They even take on some Riesling type of components as well as they get older. And they are, from my experience of dealing with consumers, this is one of the wines that actually has created a little bit of a thrill, you might say, compared to the other white wines that we produced in the past. So step out and drink something different, and yeah, so Grenache Blanc is definitely a great option, other than Sauv Blanc and Chardonnay if you want to, or Pinot Grigio or whatever. Grenache Blanc is a really, really good option.